Well, welcome back to Safc Fan TV. And if you're new to the channel, do me a massive favour and subscribe to the channel. Well, it's the big one of the weekend, Sunday at 2 p.m. It is the Sunderland versus Newcastle away time derby. I'm absolutely looking forward to this one. I'm quite nervous, to be fair, because we really want to get back to winning ways, and it will be absolutely amazing to do it against the Mags. Well, I want to give a quick shout out to the sponsor, Wolf Competitions. There'll be a link somewhere on the channel, if not in the description here. Yes, Wolf Competitions. Pop over. You can, sign up, get some really good prizes for very cheap prices. Some absolutely fantastic prizes being won over the last few weeks. Thousands of pounds. Lovely TVs and all sorts. So pop over to the sponsors of the channel. Thank you, Wolf Competitions. But yes, Sunderland do travel to their own stadium of light this weekend. Not very far to go at all. It's the Weird Time Derby. Absolutely buzzing with this one. A little bit of history about the Weird Time Derby. Well, apart from 6 in a row. Unbeaten in the last 9 derbies. Sunderland versus Newcastle. We're unbeaten in the last 9 league derbies. We're not going to include the FA Cup one, of course, because they were playing against, a much weaker side, weren't they? Newcastle playing against, or basically a League One side just coming up into the Championship. There's only Dan Ballard and Trey Hume who survived that team that will be playing at the weekend, but probably maybe only Dan Ballard will start, and he's come on loads if he's not one of the best, if not the best, one of the best central defenders in the Premier League now, coming through League One from the Arsenal Academy, of course, from League One to the Championship, and now has improved so much. Such a absolute massive player in our defence. He put Haaland in his back pocket on Saturday, and the game before that he had Isaac in his back pocket all night long. So he is brilliant. He's got a fantastic goal against Arsenal. He's got a brilliant goal in the playoff semi-finals to get us up to the final. So Dan Ballard, for me, the Newcastle fans will realise what they see. The players will realise what they're playing against. He's a different kettle of fish than he was last time when you played against Sunderland in the FA Cup. But again, that doesn't really matter, the FA Cup. It's talking like basically just out of League One to the Premier League. So it's the league that counts, and we're unbeaten in the last 9 league appearances. We've won 6 and drawn 3. The last game was a 1-1 draw. I think it was D4, which was back in 2016. So between 2012 and 2016, 9 games unbeaten. That is absolutely a fantastic record. Now, the Weird Time Derby and the Time Weird Derby first took place, which is an FA Cup game, back in 1888. Sunderland did win that game 2-0. Now, the biggest score ever was a Sunderland victory at St James's Park, 9-1. That was back in 1908. Now, head-to-heads, Newcastle have won 54, we've won 53, and there's been 49-50 draws, I think it is, 49-50 draws. So when we win this weekend, when we win this Sunday, and it'll be all square. I imagine that all square after all those games, all those matches. Absolutely tremendous. Regis Lebris is Sunderland's head coach, having a fantastic time. 60-odd games, won 29, only lost 18. Getting Sunderland promoted from the Championship up to the Premier League in this season. He's just been absolutely amazing. As you know, he's a jack of all trades. It's not just a one-trick pony. He can do several different things during the game. He can play a 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3 and change it to 5-4-1 as well. He can do all sorts of things. Sometimes with attacking, it's different to the defending. But with our defenders, Mukeli, Alderete, Ballard, Ronaldo, Hume, we have got some really good defence, and we've done really well. You can sort of brush to one side the Manchester City game. They are the best side we've played against this season. They are Premier League possible champions this season. They've won it a few times in the past. Champions League. Pep Guardiola, what he is. He's done really well. And when they're unsung, they're unsung. And it's difficult to beat them at the Etihad. And with having Granit Xhaka and no Siddiqui on 4 yellow cards, the pair of them didn't really want to make any rash challenges and get a booking and miss the derby. So they're kind of playing within themselves. I thought they were playing within themselves, and I said it before, kind of with the shackles on. So they're just using the skill, but they can't use the physicality, they can't use the passion, they can't use the drive, and so they can't really put a good challenge in, to be fair, just in case one goes a little bit of a miss. So that's for me. I think if we played Manchester City another time, another day, in another circumstance, without the Newcastle game afterwards, I think we would have been we'd have seen a different Sunderland side. I think we'd have seen a bit more of a high press, a bit more ferocity in the challenge, a bit more ferocity in the game, a bit more passion and drive, and not just sitting back and soaking up that pressure. But yeah, we played really well against Liverpool, of course, and Newcastle have done really well. End of the day, I don't like them, but I'm not stupid or stubborn enough to know that they are playing good football, and they've closed that gap. The gap was massive before, but now it's down to 1 point because they did beat Everton, which was a good result away, 4-1. They drew against Spurs when they were leading twice. I think it was twice. And then they beat Burnley. Just beat Burnley at the weekend, 2-1. And Burnley had a red card. So they have lost a few games away from home. West Ham, Brentford. So they haven't done so well away from home. Got the first away win. Hopefully that 4-1's the only time they're going to win this season away from home. But yeah, it's going to be some full-blooded challenges, some, proper passion. I think both teams will be right up for this one at the weekend. And I think you'll see some real good challenges going in. I think there'll be a few yellow cards kicking about, but hopefully no red cards on the Sunderland side anyway. Newcastle, they've got Eddie Howe, been there almost 200 games. He's done well for them. And like I say, as much as I dislike Newcastle, as much as I don't want to see them win any games of football, you've got to, you realise that they're in the Champions League for a reason. They come in the top 4, top 5, whatever it was last season, top 4. They're there for a reason, and they're doing canny in the Champions League. So it's going to be a difficult game, but the form can go out the window in the derbies. We all know it's blood and thunder. A lot of shithousery could be going on. If you take it likes of Gordon, Bruno, Joe Linton, I think they're right up there, top of with the shithousery. There might be a little bit of argy-bargy, maybe some red cards going on, we don't know. We know what derbies are like. This is the best derby in the world. Sunderland versus Newcastle, the best one, easily. It's absolutely passionate. The fans, the full house, everybody up for it. The noise will be absolutely amazing. It will be absolutely amazing on Sunday. Hopefully we'll drive our team on. Now, I think goalkeepers like Robin Roofs has been a brilliant signing. A young unknown comes to the Premier League, made some wonderful saves, and he looks an proper all-round keeper. I think he's better than Nick Pope, personally, I really do. I think Nick Pope's starting to go over the edge and make 1 or 2 mistakes and starting to become, I think maybe it's Ramsdale might start for Newcastle, possibly. I don't know if Ramsdale will start for Newcastle. Tonali's a danger man. End of the day, as much as I don't like Gordon and Bruno, they are skillful, good players, and they're all going to be dangerous on the day. So we've got to make sure we really keep them at bay and really have the high press, high tempo, put them under loads of pressure. Our defence being great. Like I said, take away the Man City game. Some of their goals were class. But Ballard. So for me, I think we might start the same team as we started against Bournemouth. It could be a 4-2-3-1. Or would you go 4-3-3? 4-2-3-1. Robin Roofs in goal. Mukele on the right. Ronaldo, Touchwood, he's back, because he was another reason why we probably got, that 3 goals in at the weekend, because he was my man of the match against Liverpool. Ronaldo, he was fantastic. What a fantastic left back. Absolutely brilliant. Free. It was free as well. At the end of the day, just paying his wages. So hopefully he comes back in a bit of a groin strain injury. Not so much of an injury, just a precaution, I think, keeping it for the Newcastle game. So yeah, Ronaldo, Alderete, Ballard and Mukele at the back. Xhaka and Siddiqui, now you'll see a different Xhaka and Siddiqui this Sunday compared to last Saturday. They'll be right up for this game. You see some really good challenges going in, and the captain, Xhaka, the best signing of the century. He is absolutely fantastic at doing that job, the captaincy role. You see what he does, he pulls the strings, he's getting it in amongst everybody, getting everybody up for the game. He's just such a lovely bloke, but he's such a ferocious player as well. So them two in the middle. Then you're going to have Traore, and I think probably Talby, Traore with Lafay in the middle. So the three in the middle of obviously Xhaka, Siddiqui, Lafay, and then of course, now will Brobby start? Now, Brobby is getting fitter with every game. He still didn't look 100% fit. Oh, can he? Not even, maybe he's not even 90% fit in the last game. He seems to struggle to see out games or even get over the 60-minute mark. So I do see with the mistakes, not so much the mistakes, I say mistakes, you know, Isidore missed chances, I think. You need somebody who's got a bit more eye for goal. And we've seen Brobby score with his head the last game against Bournemouth. We saw him score, you know, with his physical presence in the box against Arsenal. So if Brobby starts, then Isidore will come on after 60 minutes and use his pace against tiring defenders. And that's what it is with Sunderland strikers, I think it is at the moment. We've got strikers who seem to be good coming off the bench against tiring defences. So does that mean that we haven't really got a top quality striker yet? Someone who can come on and really score goals and start the games, during games, and finishes a game off. But it is what it is at the moment, isn't it? It's a work and process and the ownership. And Regis the Briss has done a fantastic job. So for me, I think Brobby starts, uses his physical presence to get really in amongst Newcastle. He holds the ball up well to bring in other players. Lafayette had some good games, man of the match a few times. Now against Bournemouth, when Traore got tired, Hume came on. So will that be the case again? Will Hume be used more as later in the game as a right winger, but then can also shift and change momentum to a back five if need be, shift back to the wing backs and Ronaldo, and you have the three centre backs, so it can move, and because we are very flexible with the formation. I'll get there eventually. We are so flexible with the formation. So with like the Trey Human, we can switch from a 4-2-3-1 to a 4-3-3 to a 5-4-1 so comfortably and so easy. And that's what I love about this team. And yeah, but like I say, it's a derby. How can happen? I mean, looking back at some of the derbies we've had over the years, I mean, I just barely remember when I was 9 years of age, the Gary Rowell hat-trick. I'd have been there, but I can, it's hard to remember just bits of it, you know. I remember certain bits. I remember when I was a kid going to one North East derby with my granddad and we couldn't get in. But I remember another one, like I say, we won 4-1. So it's blurry some bits. But then again, we got the Gates and Gabbiadini that time in the playoff semi-finals when we went to Newcastle and won 2-0. Gates and Gabbiadini, the G-Force, both scored goals. And then, of course, Newcastle crowd came on and tried to interrupt it. And then, obviously, we got the Swindon final, which we lost, but then still got promoted because they were cheating of some kind. You know, so it's some good derbies. That the 2-1s, the back-to-back 2-1s at St James's Park when Phillips scored the winner when it was pissing down with rain and it was horrible. And then the one after, when, you know, Peter Reid was in charge of both of them. I think Newcastle had Ruud Gullit in charge with Shearer, was dropped. I think the one after, Ruud Gullit got sacked and, you know, God rest his soul, Sir Bobby Robson, the great man Sir Bobby Robson himself, he was in charge of Newcastle. And we won 2-1 again. I think it was, Don Hutchinson scored, Phillips, a lovely little mazy run, cut back, cut down, ball in the box, lovely, it got to be the high kick, wasn't it, Don Hutchinson? And then, Mickey Great on the left-hand side, lovely ball in the box, Quinn. Oh, what a goal. But then, seeing Alan Shearer miss that penalty, yes, made my day. Honest to God, it was amazing. I'm not the greatest Alan Shearer fan, of course. And more recently, in those 6 in a row we've won, I mean, there's been some brilliant goals. Jermaine Defoe's going to be the best goal, of course. What a fantastic volley. I think it was Fletcher not headed the ball down. Jermaine Defoe. Barini to win 2-1 at home as well. That was a brilliant goal, a bit of this. You know, he's scored some fantastic goals. There's a couple of 3-0 wins in there. 3-3-0 wins. Was it 3-3-0? 3-3-0 wins. But which was your favourite Weir Tyne derby goal? Favourite North East goal? Favourite Sunderland versus Newcastle derby goal of all time? For me, obviously, I think it was Jermaine Defoe because that was a fantastic goal. Like I said, at the end of the day, I know it's going to be a hard game at the weekend, which is why it's so nerve-wracking. But I'm confident the lads will do the business. I think they'll be right up for this game, and I think it's going to be a fantastic game. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win. 2-1 win for me. I do think it'll be like that team I said, personally. Diarra, he said he could be back for the Newcastle game. Not heard much about that. So I don't know whether he'll be on the bench or will he... I never heard anything since he said he'll be back for the Newcastle game. So, possible bench? I'm not quite sure. So there we go. Leave your score predictions down below for the We're Tying derby. You know, we're unbeaten in 9 because we are the best. Anyway, there we go. Catch you in a bit, folks. And don't forget to pop over and, you know, and the link down below, pop and see Wolf competitions if you're interested. Wolf competitions, get yourself a nice Christmas bonus. You can pop on for small amounts of money. You can win massive prizes. You might get a fantastic Christmas box with Wolf competitions. Right, see you later, folks. Good night, God bless me, God go with you. We'll see you on Sunday. Come on, lads. However.